was the overall fraudulent business practices practiced by FTX. I'm going to give you the full context so you can understand how we get to Mr. Wonderful saying this.
I bet CZ bought himself an invitation to Washington yesterday. Can't wait to meet him there. We can go sightseeing.
But let's back it up a little bit first. These are the allegations Mr. Wonderful made against CZ in front of Congress at the FTX Day 2 hearings. Kevin blames the entire FTX collapse not on SBF and Caroline and the fraud, but entirely on CZ.
Why do you believe FTX failed?
I have an opinion. I don't have the records. Here it is. These two behemoths that own the unregulated market together and grew these incredible businesses in terms of growth were at war with each other. And one put the other out of business intentionally. Now, maybe there's a...
What if you could get your hands on one of the most powerful trading strategies on the market for free? You see, don't be...
There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe there's nothing wrong with love and war. But Binance is a massive, unregulated, global monopoly now. They put FTX out of business. This is a simple case in my mind of where did the money go? And I said, Sam, walk me back 24 months. Tell me the use of proceeds of the assets of your company. Where did you spend it? And then he told me about a transaction that occurred over the last 24 months, the repurchase of his shares from Binance, his competitor. I didn't know this at the time, but at some point, CZ or Binance, who runs Binance, purchased 20% ownership in Sam Bankman-Fried's firm for seed stock. And then, over time, and I asked him, what would compel you to spend $2 billion was the number he was giving me at that time. Later, in a subsequent conversation, about 24 hours later, he told me he could have as much as $3 billion to buy back the shares from CZ. I asked him, what would compel you to do that? Why wouldn't you keep your assets on your balance sheet? And why would you offer this to just one shareholder? He said, because every time we went to get licensed in different jurisdictions, because you must understand, the prize of crypto is to get regulated. Apparently, according to Sam Bankman-Fried, CZ would not comply with the regulators' request in these different geographies, these different jurisdictions, to provide the data that would clear them for a license. He withheld it, according to Sam Bankman-Fried. The only option the management and Sam Bankman-Fried had was to buy him out at an extraordinary valuation of close to $32 billion, less apparently a 15% discount. That stripped the balance sheet of assets. You ask me why it went bankrupt? Go to the last week. All of a sudden, in social media, CZ is asking for another $500 million. But Binance is a massive, unregulated, global monopoly now. They put FTX out of business.
CZ Binance was quick to respond. response to this, taking to CNBC shortly after, CZ had this to say in full about Kevin O'Leary.
He says he didn't know that Binance was a shareholder of FTX. So he invested in FTX without looking at the cap table. But
Here.
Shit like that. That's not indicative.
Can't have no battle rap conversation.
Nigga, you was a Tyler, I'm saying it.
I was 12, judging nigga rapping at the nigga can't tell me nothing.
That's what I said.
Fucking live this shit.
Fuck,
Way
nigga,
deeper
we
than
can
battle
battle
rap.
rap.
I don't
give
give
a
a
fuck. I don't give a
hate that,
fuck.
nigga.
I don't know what they doing now.
They don't want to battle
They
rap.
ain't what I'm making on the set.
Who give a fuck about money?
All right, then, nigga.
Talk about some battle rap.
Battle rap, hippity hop somewhere else on the side.
With that being said, it's not just y'all. Nobody can talk about battle rap with me, but we not gonna say fuck Project Book.
Ever.
Ever.
I don't know what Project Book is.
It's way
But I'm
more.
saying, if y'all say making this the holy grail, what it is. Fuck it, I don't care.
It's more than battle rap. Project Book is West Coast hip hop.
Lush, we understand who you are in the
Oh,
battle
well,
rap
somebody do
community.
something
I
about
never
it.
played that
Fuck
card
Project
either.
Book, I
You
don't
just
give
played
a
that card.
fuck.
It's for
You
the
technically
first time
just played
ever.
that card, but
For the first
I
time
just watched you
ever.
play it.
For the first time ever.
So, granted, right, but you played it.
I never talked down
But you
against
just did
y'all.
it right now.
I did.
So, let me finish.
I don't even know what it is. But if niggas act like this the holy grail, then I don't care.
Shit, my pop.
How is it the holy grail? Because I don't know about it. So, I don't know battle rapping because I don't know what Project Blue is.
West Coast and you don't know about some super West Coast hip hop.
Nigga, you should know about Project Blue. West Coast and a lot of these niggas, but you should.
I don't give a shit about what that is.
Lush, if you, Lush,
So I don't know battle rapping. I don't know Project
I'm
Blue.
sorry, alright? I'm
Lush,
sorry.
being that you are in the who you are in the battle rap community, why are you acting like what we're saying has not been mimicked by other people who are of as much credible
Y'all
as you
saying-
are in the battle rap community?
y'all saying-
So just 'cause we're saying it,
Y'all saying
no,
that-
no, wait, but there are niggas who I know who are your age and who have been in this shit as long as you are, who will say the same thing.
What's my age again? No, I'm just playing. Look, that your opinion is
64.
not your opinion. When,
and to suppress as evidence anything obtained on the grounds that the search and seizure without a warrant was illegal, or the search and seizure with a warrant was illegal because the warrant is insufficient on its face, there wasn't probable cause for the issuance of the warrant, or the warrant was illegally executed. The motion shall be in writing, which that one was. State facts showing the search and seizure were unlawful, which it was. The judge shall receive evidence outside the presence of the jury on any issue of fact necessary to determine the motion, and the burden of proof.
State's reliance on Alford, State versus Alford, the state's reliance on this narrow window that only the Honorable Judge Newkirk could suppress marijuana is frivolous. On page 43. Sorry, line 4. I continue. But then when the court goes through and looks at the search warrant itself, the only way we would have probable cause in the search warrant is if the court finds that law enforcement officers on the day that this happened actually had the lawful right to go in the house and to observe, because everything else in that search warrant does not produce probable cause to search Mr. Williams' home. Then it continues on page 45. On line 4, at the end, I say in the middle of the sentence, nothing is attached showing that this arrest warrant was valid from DeKalb County. On line 40, page 46, on line 5, the next issue, Your Honor, that is asserted is that law enforcement officers entered Mr. Williams' home on the day that we're talking about, and I challenged that in the supplemental motion with the fact that it was read to this honorable court by the district attorney, supposedly armed with an arrest warrant, and there was no need to search or even enter Mr. Williams' home because I'm challenging the arrest warrant was not valid if there is an arrest warrant. And the last issue in the affidavit for the search warrant discusses items that were located by law enforcement officers during the search on the day that you heard about, which I would say is a fruit of the poisonous tree.
So I have three issues. One, there is no at all arrest warrant presented to this court. So under Baez, which I have a copy for the court, how can I challenge the arrest warrant? How can the court say it's a lawful arrest of Mr. Williams at his home without being armed with a certified copy of the arrest warrant? Therefore, and I stress this, Your Honor, every of the poisonous tree on page 47 of the transcript in courts number 2, on line 9, I continue. So the only thing we're left with is the unlawful entries into Mr. Williams' home, and I would ask the court, based upon that, suppress the evidence, grant the motion to suppress. Mr. Bailey then speaks on page 47, line 14, and going to line 18. At the last word, he says, this motion to suppress the search of a home that the defense is alleging is illegal. Nobody's talking about only marijuana. Mr. Bailey continues on page 48, line 10 in the middle. The only two questions
Yo, y'all can't hear it? If y'all can't hear it, tell me. I'll turn it up. But I think what's happening is that they're broadcasting in mono, so it's coming through one channel. It's not coming through two. What y'all want? You only hear one ear, right? Yeah, that's their audio. It's fucked up, but I can turn it up though.
anything like that. The court then, page 49, on line 6, says to the state, in which case you would have produced a copy of the arrest warrant. And Mr. Bailey says, right, which would have been a subject, I'm sure, of the suppression motion at that point. And then the Honorable Judge Newkirk said, well, it sounds like Mr. Steele made the arrest warrant a subject of this motion, also in a supplemental motion which the court file does not have. What does it, what?
Why is this muted?
The prosecutor says, and that is a copy, a supplemental one. Again, he's not challenging the arrest in this case. He mentioned something in there about the cab arrest warrant. If he wants, there's no need to challenge the cab arrest warrant now because the case was dismissed. But there is a forum for doing that, and that may be what they did in the case. Maybe they challenge the arrest warrant in that case. On page 51 of course number 2, the district attorney states on line 6, that doesn't mean that because there's not a certified copy of that arrest warrant that has any bearing at all on whether the entry and subsequent search of this house was proper. Everyone's talking, Your Honor, about the entry. That would be the state's argument in the case. At line 11, the Honorable Judge Newkirk said, all right, tell me again about Baez. I'm not familiar with it. What is the site? Is it Supreme Court or Georgia Supreme Court? I said Court of Appeals. You give the court the site. And then on line 51. Yes, sir. Yeah. And then on line, the court asked me for a summation on Baez again, and I said, okay, that's on line 22. So it's a motion to suppress like we're dealing with here. Law enforcement officers have obtained a search warrant after an arrest warrant. So it's the same sequence here. Going on to page 52, Your Honor. Law enforcement officers utilize the arrest warrant. They call it several things, bench warrant, arrest warrant. And just like Mr. Williams, it was challenged whether it was a valid arrest warrant. The motion to suppress hearing goes forward. The prosecution doesn't put forth the arrest warrant. The Court of Appeals says without the arrest warrant, it is not in the record. We are not finding there was an arrest warrant. It was challenged, and they suppress the evidence and find it is a fruit of, since there's no basis in the record to have an arrest warrant, everything thereafter is unlawful. That's exactly what I think happened here. That's why I use the case. Why did I make the supplemental motion to suppress all evidence located from Mr. Williams' home? Your Honor, I was challenging everything. It is clear. And I'll get to Judge Newkirk's order, because it's not a fair reading of the order to say only the marijuana. That's not true. I didn't write that order, by the way. On page 52, line 23, I say, and I don't want to play games with anybody. I put it in its own paragraph. I made it a supplemental because I realized there was a problem with the arrest warrant. So I made paragraph 7 standing alone, or standing on its own, and I wrote, moreover, law enforcement officers were not armed with a valid arrest warrant in DeKalb County at the time of entering Mr. Williams' home, and thus, and Your Honor, I'm stressing this, all evidence must be suppressed on page 53, lines 1 through 5. Then skipping to line 15, I again...
Yo, salute Drunken Driver for, I think like 5 gifted. Thank you, brother. Jinx9110, thank you for 5 gifted as well. Thank all y'all for showing up today, man. We're hopping into it. I'm not even doing intros this week. You feel me? Usually I get right. We're getting straight into shit. But everybody, thank you for the subs. And YouTube should be online. If you guys have problems with the audio, I'll try to fix it. But the audio's a little fucked up through the court. It should be sounding fine when I talk. But I'm gonna keep going.
We challenge that there is no valid arrest warrant, and then it's not saved later, in my opinion, the search, because I don't know how else law enforcement gets in the home. Because now, thank God there's not a shootout in the house where law enforcement had to go there. On page 54, line 5, Your Honor, I continue, so I don't know how law enforcement, without a valid arrest warrant here today, has any evidence to go before the court. And that is why I made an issue of the other items in the search warrant, like the confidential source, the alleged confidential source.
Hi, FBS. Thank you for 5 gifted, brother. I think it's brother. I gotta start thinking that it could be Chinese. Thank you for 5 gifted.
The court states, Honorable Judge Newkirk, on page 55, its ruling. On line 18, the court says as follows. All right, Mr. Steele, I'm going to go with you on this. I think you are correct. I think the burden is on the state to show the initial arrest warrant was valid and initial entry into the house was valid. And he hasn't done that, meaning the prosecutor has not done that. It appears there's no testimony from any officer. Certainly, there's no need for her to go back in the house without a search warrant. It doesn't sound like she searched for anything, so that might have been harmless, That might have been harmless error because the arresting officers discovered it and went out and told her. And this is what I'm stressing. Line 4, page 56, the Honorable Court's ruling. But I don't think we get to that hurdle because the lack of authority shown to the court that they had permission, meaning the police had permission to enter the house on the front side. So I will grant your motion, Mr. Steele, if you will prepare a proposed order. I never did the proposed order. I don't know why I wouldn't do that, but I'm told. Maybe I did and the judge didn't like it. That's not my order. The bottom line I'm trying to tell this Honorable Court, with as much earnest and power and professional as I can, is I do not want to relitigate this after I gave a roadmap to the prosecution on how to litigate. If they need me to help them litigate a case, I'm not helping them. The issue here is we had the hearing. I challenged the initial entry into Mr. Williams' home.
Yo, this thing is tight. Gunner is all smiles, putting back the diamonds in his teeth. He doing whippets out the ass right now, getting his dick sucked by that bad bitch with the new fresh BBL. And Thug's lawyer in court, mad as a motherfucker. You hear this thing, man? This thing is tight. By the way, thank you for telling me that Thug video is old. Yo, I put it on the shelf that I could review to make sure it's new. But god damn it, I kid you not, I thought Thug was going to show up in court and possibly take a plea to him. I thought, because he's been doing these conference calls where like he's at the jail and they're just like FaceTiming him in every single time. Today's the first time I seen him show up in suit in court. Usually they wait for that around trial time, but he showed up in suit and he's smiling like a motherfucker. So I thought he was gonna walk out. But the way this thing is arguing, look like they just acknowledge that they're in deeper shit. Thug is smiling, but his lawyer is tight.
It is D4. And Your Honor, that's the first one.
Thank you, sir. D4, and it's entitled, it's filed, I know the hearing was on the 3rd of April, 2017.
Filed in on the 11th of April,
Right.
17.
So D4, order granting supplemental motion to suppress.
For those who are just tuning in, let me tell you what's going on. So they're trying to suppress evidence. There's a few things that Thug is fighting. Number one, Gunna just came out and said, yo, remember when that traffic stop happened that you said you caught some drugs and some gun in the car? That shit definitely ain't mine, and I'll testify that it ain't mine. Which almost says, if it ain't mine and it's only two of us in the car, you know what I mean? One of those type shit. So they're trying to fight that evidence a little bit, but what they're really also definitely trying to fight is the evidence that they found all these weapons and silencers and shit like that in Young Thug's crib. He's saying that, listen, they didn't have really a search warrant to go look for those things. They only had a warrant to take him into custody, and they went beyond the scope of that warrant. That's why they found those things, which means those things should be thrown out. To keep it real, if I'm going with this judge, I think this judge gonna say, fuck out of here. This nigga, he's arguing. He's trying. He's trying, bro. You gotta imagine Thug looked at him and said, yo, Gunna just got out of here on a vacation. Like, bro, what's going on?
And the judge got that language. I know I didn't do this order because I would always say the honorable court. This is just not the way I read the order. But you know where the court did get the language of what the state was relying, specifically just over announced marijuana? It's in my motion. I said suppress everything, specifically including the marijuana. It is not true what they are telling the honorable court, and that's not acceptable. Then they go to the search warrant. The state wants to rely on a search warrant from 2016. It was signed by the Honorable Judge Woodson. It is signed and it's in your court's file. I believe it's defense number 10. I'm going to tell this honorable court. And it was signed on June 27, 2016.
I have one more for search and seizure D10. You introduced that last time.
So, Your Honor, this is the same items that were taken from Mr. Williams' home in July of 2015. It's the same exact items that should have been returned. The state of Georgia has a search warrant. What they don't tell you, and I'm not saying they're hiding, they just didn't tell you, is that they couldn't get into Mr. Williams' devices. They sent it to Cellbrite with the search warrant, and Cellbrite wrote back, and the GBI, we can't get in the devices. The search warrant then is never applied for again to tell any court, like this court, by the way, there was a hearing and all the evidence was suppressed. The state is using then in May of 2017, after Judge Newkirk suppressed the evidence in April 2017. The state then sends Mr. Williams devices when they won't give it back to him. They won't restore it to Mr. Williams or his father, who had a power of attorney. Go to Cellbrite, and Cellbrite down has better.
I don't know if it's intentional or something that's falling down. I'll tell you this though. Why sell the label? Their label Instagram did welcome Gunna back home. So I think people are looking and waiting for the official word on is, and by the way, when the audio comes back, I'll go back over there. People are looking at the official, what's the official word on Gunna from like Doug and them. And shit. This is yesterday though. 180 milligrams. We're actually doing 2 of them. I bet. Alright, go. Eat the first one. I can eat out of it. Yeah, eat the whole one. Chew it up.
Oh no, I can get you that.
Hello. Hello.
What?
Alrighty, mate. How are you doing today?
Down, horsey, down.
How are you doing today, my boy?
I've been single.
Oh, you being single? Me too, baby. I mean, I can't relate. I can't relate with you, man. But
Hey, baby, how's it going? I heard you were single.
oh yeah, my friend over
You know my boy? What's up, bro? You got money.
Man, what's up,
brother? How you doing, my boy? Good, guys.
Looking for a boyfriend, and she was wondering if you're interested.
I was wondering if you wanted to go to that rodeo with me on Sunday.
I'm gonna go to your rodeo.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Are you very interested, mate? I can sign you up for free.
I know.
Are you interested?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Boy, I swear. I'm
I need to get on my horse and I need to go to my crib right now. I need to pop on my pad.
Hey, you need to beat that dude's ass, cuz you need to freaking get the Glock on him and be like,
That's exactly what you need to do, mate. I'm sorry, that was my little horse.
was that your V12 Corvette engine?
Oh, yeah, honey. You already know what it is.
Hey, that's crazy right there.
That's how you know, honey. That is my fucking Corvette. Raving that. Raving that.
How I do my WSTI, that's a rally car. See,
Oh, my Naomi has the same thing.
You got the funny looking. You're funny looking, boy.
Mate. Trying to hop in my pad tonight.
Whoa. Hey, you said you were single, my brother.
I'm trying to hook you up with some good shit right now. You got 20 bands? I can get you a girl right here right now. My boy just left. What the fuck?
Nah, you can't be for real, for real.
Shit, you wanna go with me?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, you wanna come with me, homeboy? We can go tonight.
Oh, I know. You can make a good one night, sweetie pie.
Oh, yeah, you already know, Pop.
We be calling pops now.
I'll be calling you Poppy.
I ain't really into that.
Oh, I'm kinda into that roleplay, honey. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's quite interesting, but
How
I
about we
feel
take
like,
WO? Let's take some WO.
what the fuck?
I want this child rising at my house back tonight by 12 p.m.
And you be talking
I
about
want an AM right now in my 20 minutes so I can get all that right now, right?
He might send you her snap, so just be waiting. Just be waiting.
Okay, I'll be waiting. Oh, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. Ooh.
Bruh.
My con everything will be I get my con everything will be a boner. I'm a old granny. I don't think I can do that right now. My back is kind of hurting.
Ain't out since
Dude, my throat hurts. I feel like I have like an accent now.
my dick hurts.
Same, dog. Let's fix that.
Well, mine or his.
Yours.
Oh yeah. Alright, pull up.
Hi. How old are you? I meant.
Hey, sorry, that's my bad. That's my bad.
That was my best part.
Bro.
Boy, you gotta be joking. You're 14? I'm on.
Yeah, but we don't.
What's this ball?
Yeah. Well, no, I took this thing. Yeah. How did I die from this guy?
Oh my god, that does so much. Holy crap.
I don't know why you're trying to push him, babe. Why are you trying to push him?
I don't know. Bro just emoted at me, bro.
Then why are you collecting berries right now? Go fight them. You have 10 left. What are you doing? Oh my god, Bill. Can you please turn off a young boy? Can you please turn off a young boy? Bro, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Respectfully, politely, nobody cares. Just please get the Oh yeah, good job. Push her. Build up. Oh, now you got it. Oh, nah, she got the
Ow, shit, man.
Come on, get her ass, brother.
Bruh. Fuck is that?
Yeah. I don't know, it does like
What is that?
You could kill someone with that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I really did. Oh, fuck.
Wow, bro. Oh, like she was
Really?
a girl at the time. That must suck. That must suck. Alright, hey Corey is Crash. Corey's Crash. We're gonna play with you for a little bit, buddy.
Yes, sir. But hold on,
35. No, I'm 14.
Damn, same age as me.
No, you're not. You're 11.
No, I'm
I used to have that. I used to have that same experience as you, bro. You're 11.
You're not 14, dude.
I am. Okay, guys.
I'm 15.
Counts for a transaction 2 years ago. So that's kind of contradictory. So I think Calvin's a liar. So I think he's lying about a bunch of stuff. So that's his problem. And to us, we want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in the space.
So CZ Binance goes straight to calling Kevin O'Leary a liar. Mr. Wonderful, not to have a poor narrative painted against him, then goes on NBC today and shoehorns in his retort to CZ. So Kevin first just straight up gets asked if he thinks Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX committed fraud or no, because it seems like you're a fan of SBF and FTX, Kevin. Do you think FTX committed fraud?
You are a principal in this drama. You are an actor in this drama, and you had a front row seat to Sam Bankman-Fried literally up until the very end. Given what you know about him personally, and given what you now know about the numbers and what has happened there, as you said, you're trying to get money back for creditors. What do you think happened? Do you believe this was a fraud?
I don't have the facts. John Ray doesn't have them yet. He's going to get them. I'm looking for my records. I'm willing to fund a forensic audit of our accounts. I'd like to know what happened, obviously.
Real quick, it's interesting. Kevin says that the current FTX CEO in charge of the bankruptcy and the cleanup, John J. Ray, it's interesting that Kevin says that John J. Ray doesn't have the facts. When all John did on day one of the hearings was come with information and facts.
They use QuickBooks, a multi-billion-dollar company using QuickBooks.
QuickBooks?
QuickBooks.
Mr. Ray, you have compared FTX as worse than Enron. Can you please elaborate on some of the specific ways FTX is worse than one of the largest corporate frauds in history.
The FTX group is unusual in the sense that I've done probably a dozen large scale bankruptcies over my career.
That really go. Hold on. Done. Bro, when I get it done, I'll come to you. Alright, now come to you. Got you, nice. Who? Sorry, I'm back. I was only watching it. Sweet. So y'all really didn't think about going video yet? Hold on. I'll go. Hold on. This is good. Alright, 1, 2. Come on, come on. Oh, help. Help. They're 2 kids. They're good. Come on. No, go to bed. Really got ammo. Run away, Yodo, and hide. Take your, hide in there. Or, break that thing, that put that. Behind you, get the shit thing, yep. If they come, walk behind your back too. Don't shoot. If they come, shoot. No. Not like that. Like if they come in the building. You can try to go over there, but do not reboot if you do. It's kind of good for you. That way he's still up there. Go here for shotgun if you need. Don't worry. Yeah. Go. It's gonna be coming straight. Up the team and dip. They're behind you! Behind you! So fake. So ready? Hold on. What?
Yeah, including Enron, of course. Every one of those entities has some financial problem or another. They have some characteristics that are in common. This one is unusual, and it's unusual in the sense that literally, there's no record keeping whatsoever. It's the absence of record keeping. Employees would communicate, invoicing and expenses on Slack, which is, essentially a way of communicating for chat rooms. They use QuickBooks, a multi-billion-dollar company using QuickBooks. QuickBooks. Nothing against QuickBooks, it's a very nice tool, just not for a multi-billion-dollar company. The operation of Alameda really depended, based on the way it was operated, for the use of customer funds. That's the major breakdown here of funds from FTX.com, which was the exchange for non-US citizens. Those funds were used at Alameda to make investments and other disbursements.
Did you know Google makes a phone? Sure, it's beautiful, but it does things other phones can't do, which is how it helps take annoying items out of pictures. Introducing our newest Google Pixel phones.
In our house, we've got a lot to say. Like, you're the best. Welcome and appreciate you. Because nothing says I care to your boss.
There were virtually no internal controls and no separateness whatsoever.
Anyways, so now we're back on CNBC with Kevin O'Leary, who's just about to shoehorn in his response to CZ Binance.
Alright, get him. Little razzle dazzle. Loot llama. Hear ye, I dare decree a town hall meeting. Okay, in 1 minute we have to build the purple marker over there. Alright, let's go. Purple. Yes, that's it. You can read. You can see. Good job. So close to my ear. Just kidding, hiya! buddy. I got you. Sorry I had to blow up your house to do it, but I did it. Alright, I hope we have... There we go. Got any more of that? My house down. Hey, if you can hear me, please drop some shotgun ammo. Oh, you're cool. Thank you. Yes, sir. Easy to 5v4.
Bruh. That's how hard it punches? Damn. Should've just left.
Deleted, yeeted, skeeted, beated, baby. Wow. Holy fuck, we lost that round. Fucking.
Bruh, that punch is like so fucking... It's like overpowered, bruh. Just get yeeted with it.
Opinion went on 64.
I'm still sure you're your mom listen to
cruising down the street in my 64. When you're
Uno, that makes me my motherfucking hip hop historian when it comes to battle rap. Nigga, I was
Thriller, nigga, and Teddy O'Reilly and shit. Listen. Old ass shit, nigga. I was judging these battle raps. What is niggas saying?
Your mama listen to the blues. I'm 33, cuz. You tripping. There's a level to this battle rap shit. I'm 9 years older than you, nigga.
About no battle rap. You know what Project Bloat is?
Yes.
You know what the Black is?
What is
You
that?
never been?
What are you talking about? Stop, AD.
Stop
about that
Stop,
shit.
AD.
You never
Stop,
been. Please.
You
Stop.
can't say
Okay, what's
Project
Project Bloat?
shit.
Stop.
All
I said my mama listen to blues.
legendary battle rap shit from right here, nigga. I can really speak on it, nigga. You don't know nothing about Project Bloat. Good life. You can tell about battle rap from being from the West Coast.
I fucking live this shit. So I'm like, yes, are y'all capable
Bruh,
and equipped to talk
again,
about
though?
battle rap? Yes, I was anyone.
I remember Crank City.
Anyone is
and all that
anyone
shit.
capable of saying shit about battle rap to me?
Fuck you too,
I don't give a
Penguin.
fuck
Shut the
who
fuck
it
up
is.
talking louder than me, nigga.
Listen, Batman, we can do this. We can do this. Penguin versus Batman. No, with that being said,
But on some real shit though, I remember the pit and shit like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
That on some West Coast shit. See, you was born into that shit. If your daddy wasn't a legend, you probably wouldn't know about that shit. I didn't know about that shit.
Project Bloat is the most important movement in West Coast hip-hop history.
Now that's what we're gonna go for.
If your daddy, well, that's a big if.
Y'all got y'all dicks out right now.
I was here, nigga, there, for it, at it, at 5, 4, 3, nigga, all the ages. I was there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That kid killed me. Yeah.
play one more and I'm gonna get off. I already gonna be 9. I thought Academics would have streamed, but he never did. Bro, I know the weed fucked me up. Cause like around 3:30, well, we got here like around 3, bro, and I was kind of like, you know, probably what it was too, cause I ate, but I was also like high as fuck, and it kind of like gets you sleepy like when you're coming off of it. And it was like around 3. Well, I stopped playing around 3:20, and I was kind of like, well, I'll go to the interview in a little bit. Let me just kind of chill a bit. Well, first I was playing, and I was like, let me chill a bit. Then after that, I ain't gonna lie, I felt comfortable and I kind of just knocked out. And then, but only for a little bit though. And by the time I woke up though, it was already fucking like past 4. It kind of sucked. I'm like, damn, I wasn't fucking like keeping an eye on the time.
Hello? Hello? Dad?
My sneakers, my step. Grand people wanna grab my sneakers, my step gotta skip. Heart been skipping a beat, dark west. It don't go real deep, got no buddies fiending. 50 bands, cash and these are mirrors. Gotta lean it, golden, you surprise the plug. When the talk is Spanish, 500 P's just drop. Make a panic, golden, why you put that? I ain't even planning, Asian buddy made the drop. Send them across the planet, ain't standing on that street shit. Tomorrow we gon' be rich. Get that dope and remix. We get no beats from Phoenix. My shades on, nigga, I don't see shit. I'm caught that watch, nigga, beat this. I'm up, they can't believe this. She gon' clean us. Ain't standing on that street shit. Tomorrow we gon' be rich. Get that dope and remix. We get no beats from Phoenix. My shades on, nigga, I don't.
He love it when I pull up with no panties on. I'm like, let me put this pussy on. Yeah, baby, come in, let me put this pussy on.
Damn, bro. Yeah, that shit fucking like the eating and then the weed too. That shit fucking put me to sleep when I was fucking done eating it. And I just wanted to like close my eyes a bit just so like to wait a bit because I didn't have to be there at 4. I was gonna leave around 3:50, 3:40 something. Or really 3:50 or 3:40 something, 3:50, but damn, bro. The hammer is pretty useless now. It doesn't even work when yeah. The hammer is useless now. It doesn't even work anymore when people are trapped. It doesn't even work anymore. There's no point in using it no more. Alright. The only thing it's good is for freaking like literally like leaving like fast. But other than that, it's pretty useless. Alright. I'm gonna get off you guys. GG's. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next stream. GG's.